Well, Newcastle United take the trip down to the London Stadium to take on West Ham United, coming off the back of a historic, momentous and magnificent night at St James's Park midweek, where they thumped, battered, bruised a PSG side 4-1 in a night that will go down in a memory for many Geordies. Both sides in European action midweek, as I said, Newcastle playing PSG, and of course West Ham on Thursday night beating SC Freiburg over in Germany. Both sides wanted to end this little short stint of the season before another international break on a high. Of course, after this game tomorrow at the London Stadium, we've got a 2-week international break before we take on Aston Villa away from home when the Premier League resumes. I hope you are all well watching. Thank you very much indeed for joining. Of course, the news of Jarrod Bowen signing a new contract is absolutely massive, confirmed by Fabrizio Romano and a very, very good and trusted source. Jarrod Bowen has committed his future to West Ham United, with murmurings from certain accounts and people over the last few days that he's been reluctant to sign a new contract. This is brilliant, amazing news for West Ham to get probably the most important player at the club signed down to a new contract. Is just, it's very, very good. And hopefully there's no release clause in there, and we can move on if he sign a good few more years. Let's keep him at the London Stadium. Hopefully we've given him what he wants, and I think he's a player that overall is just so pivotal to the way we play. He's so he's so good in the way that he's got, he's added more goals to his game this year. So I mean, he's got that, what a week for him. He's got an England call up, and he's signed a new long-term contract for West Ham. I mean, brilliant week, 5 goals in 7 games in the Premier League. I think he's got one in Europe as well so far, and I can't be happier for him. It's brilliant. It is brilliant. Great news indeed. But overall, Newcastle then, look, they've been on a very good run, and these sorts of runs have got to come to an end at some point. We're at home, yes, of course. Last year at home, they absolutely thumped us. That was a night to forget. Was it 4 or 5-1 they beat us last year? And that was right when we were proper struggling at the end of not the end, like, was it February time last season? Of course, we came a long way since then. At home, look, their fans are going to be having a party, no doubt, after what happened midweek, and we've got to try and weather the storm, because they've got to have loads of confidence. Look, we played on Thursday. Did they play? Was it Tuesday or Wednesday they played? So they've had an extra sort of day, an extra day's rest, and we've got to be ready for the early burst from Newcastle. They're a very good side, yes. Listen, PSG weren't great that night. I didn't think they were too good at all, and they've got a lot of injuries. There's a good few players out. We'll have to wait and see tomorrow whether Callum Wilson's fit and available to see whether he gets his guaranteed goal against West Ham for the season. But yeah, apart from that, they've got, I think Gordon's injured. Sven Botman, a centre half, I think, is injured as well. So they've got so they've got a few absentees there. And if we just play our game, I mean, look, we've been on a fantastic run in all competitions over the last few months. Is it 10 games where we've lost just 2 games against Man City and Liverpool, which I think is a phenomenal record. And we've just got to keep going and play our way. And if we don't win, it's not the end of the world. Don't get me wrong; they're a good side. There's no shame in losing to this Newcastle side, but I still think we can, I still think we can get at them. They aren't untouchable. They've had some dodgy results even so far this season. Did Brighton batter them or something, or am I just completely making that up? I think they still haven't been perfect this year. Don't get me wrong; they're a very good side, of course. But I mean, they have had some holes in there as well. No, it wasn't Brighton that beat them. But anyway, they're still a side that I think at home, definitely at home, we can have a decent game. We can have a decent go at any of these sides. Look, we scored against Man City. I didn't think we were too bad against Liverpool, and we've continued a decent run. And we've got to have confidence. Look, we are never going to have any confidence unless we've got confidence right now. The team's on a high. We've started well in Europe. We started well in the Premier League, and we've got to take that positively into this game and hope to get something out of it at the end of the day. I mean, look, it is what it is. Of course, they're a good side, and they've got a lot of pace, a lot of skill. And in terms of our team news, I think it's Mikel Antonio. Not sure whether he's a doubt for the game or not. So I mean, if Antonio doesn't play, that completely changes the dynamic of that team. It does. That's a given. That if Antonio doesn't start, is it going to be a sort of what we did on Thursday night? Kudus and Bowen sort of floating around, switching with Paqueta going up there as well, or will he go for Danny Ings, which wouldn't surprise me. I mean, hopefully Moyes is steering away from the option of Danny Ings up front on his own on Thursday, because he could have easily done that. He could have easily done that on Thursday. He could have started Danny Ings up front on his own. They wouldn't have been any good, and we probably might not have won the game. You never know. But he went, no, I'm not going to start Danny Ings. He's had a poor run of form. He's been crap, which he has. And he started Kudus, who I thought was bright, and he started Bowen, I thought was also very good on Thursday. And I mean, anything is better than anything was better than Danny Ings up front. But I just think the way forward is starting either Kudus or Bowen, because Danny Ings isn't the way forward, is it? He's just not. But we've got to find a solution with Mikel Antonio not in that side this year, because Mikel Antonio is not going to play all 55 games or however many, depending on how far we go in domestic and European competitions. He's not going to play every game. He is going to get little injuries. He is going to have to be controlled and rested at certain parts of the season. So Moyes' second option has got to be crystal clear, and I hope now he's steering away from Danny Ings, and I hope that he's going to utilise the likes of Mohamed Kudus up there and switch things, and maybe have to switch things up a bit and mix a few players around. But I think Mohamed Kudus just gives us an option. Gives us an option that we possibly haven't got in that side, really. That bit more flair. I mean, that drop of the shoulder and run past about 5 players against Sheffield United was nearly better than the goals we scored against them. I mean, that sort of got the crowd off of their seats a little bit and woke most of the crowd back up again after what was a dismal second half in terms of quality. And I mean, that's what a player like Mohamed Kudus can do: drop his shoulder, get the ball and run and cause problems. Pacey, attacking, and I think it's this perfect opportunity now, if Antonio isn't fit and if Antonio isn't available, for Kudus to slot into that role and play, whether it's up front or on the wing, depending on how Moyes wants to do it, whether he wants to put Bowen down the middle and try and get him scoring goals. Although I do have to say, when Bowen did go back out to the right-hand side, more familiar territory, he did look better on Thursday night, which is to be expected to an extent because of because that is his position. Bowen's not an out-and-out striker. He is a right winger. And so maybe Kudus, is he more suited to that role? I mean, look, we haven't got a proper decent out-and-out striker because he's not going to use Mubama, and Danny Ings is useless. And if Antonio's not there, we haven't got another out-and-out striker to use there. So one of those options has to be it. And whoever their centre-halves are, they are a very good defensive side. Newcastle, did they have the best defence in the whole of the Premier League statistically last year? They barely conceded, or last year they barely conceded any goals. I think they had a huge run where they sort of played a lot of 0-0s and 1-1s, and they just seem to be a side that keep it tight at the back and do have those options going forward and always seem to score goals and pick up the results. I mean they beat Sheffield United, who we beat last week 8-0. Most things just fell into place nicely for Newcastle that game, a couple of Sundays ago. But I think it's still a testament. I think it's still a recognisable factor to how good and how dangerous this Newcastle attack and side can be. I mean, they haven't got a big team of huge names there, but they work together as a team really well. I think I sort of familiarise it in a way to Brighton. Brighton haven't got a load of household brilliant names because they sell most of them on Brighton, but they've got a team there that's together. I mean, Dan Burn, Kieran Trippier, when they signed for Newcastle, most people thought were going for the money and going just to sort of hang up their boots and finish their career there. They've been exceptional, and they've brought in that Livramento from Southampton, and he's slotted in really well in the full-back position. Bruno Guimaraes is a very, very good player. he's good friends with Lucas Paqueta, and Paqueta spoke about that in the week, how he's excited about the midfield battle between the Brazilian Bruno Guimaraes and the Brazilian Lucas Paqueta. The midfield's a key battle. Whoever Moyes is going to start, I'd expect it to be Alvarez, Ward, Prowse, and Souček/Paqueta. Whether Paqueta will play out on the left, I don't know, but I mean, those four players have fitted into the team somehow in the last few weeks, so I'd probably expect that to happen again. Alvarez will pick up a yellow card, as he does in most games. Will Prowse will put a brilliant free kick into the box or corner that will most probably score on, and that's your bingo card done for the game. And yeah, right, let's take some of your comments, see what you guys are saying. Here's David, look, coming back with nothing else to do on a Saturday evening. Spurs won. Well seen, David. That's very good. That's very good. They aren't champions of Europe, though, are they? Not like us. We know what we are. They did beat the mighty Luton. They did, to be fair. I thought it would have been a big banana skin for Spurs, but they managed to get over the line. When I saw half time, they were down to 10 men and it was still 0-0. And a lot of people saying that they should be about 5 or 6-0 up. I was thinking it could be one of those days, but they managed to get it done. It was a poor dive, stupid thing to do, especially on a yellow card as well. We see those not given 9 times out of 10, but I mean, Spurs were always going to have one of those decisions go against them this week, weren't they? Because of obviously what happened last weekend. A lot of people predicting draws, 1-1. 1-1 and catch a 5-3 from Paddington. Get home early. Lovely stuff. 3-3 says Robert. Didn't that happen a few? I tell you what, it is usually a high-scoring affair at the London Stadium between these two sides. So it was 5-1 loss last year. I think I've seen a few 3-2s and 3-3s at the London Stadium between these two sides in the past. So there's always goals in this game. I mean, it's 4-2 up at their place a couple of years ago. Our first game back in the stands after COVID. What a day that was. What a day. Usual suspect says, Bissouma should be in prison soon. He won't be diving and pick up the soap in the shower. 3-3. I would love to see that. Yeah, that would certainly be entertaining, wouldn't it? But yeah, I feel like a 1-1 is probably fair as well. We've had a couple of them over the last few years as well. Up at their place last year was a 1-1, and the year before at our place, I think it was a 1-1. So a 1-1 draw wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. I mean, I'd take a point off of you if you're going to give it to me right now, 100%. I think, yeah, a point. Get out of it, move on into the international break. Hopefully no injuries through it. And then at Villa away, it's going to be a difficult game, Villa away, after the international break. But they do blow hot and cold, this Villa side. They can get battered one week and then they could be brilliant the next. So, yeah, I think if we lose this game, let's not get all carried away and start going mental into this international break. But it's always good to at least get a point in the game before the international break. Because if we lose this game, the fan base is on a bit of a downer going into a 2-week break where we can't do anything about it. I think the geezer on Soccer Saturday said today, it's not similar, but with Sheffield United, they're sat at the bottom of the table, and a game where they would have hoped to get a point out of maybe at Fulham. They lost 3-1 and now they've got, they can't do anything about it for 2 weeks now. And of course it's a different scenario, but I feel like just to keep things flowing, keep things ticking over, I'd love to see us get a point. I would snatch that off of you right now. But I've got a feeling there's going to be hopefully a good atmosphere in there tomorrow. It's going to be hot if you're going over there. I know that much. It's going to be T-shirt and shorts weather in October. Good old British weather, isn't it? They'll create a good atmosphere in that away end. If they don't, I'll be surprised. They're always good, the Geordies. And obviously with what happened on Tuesday night, they should be buzzing and they should be well up for it. So it should be a good game. Let's hope we've got some entertaining football to watch. I mean, they'll provide it, whether we will. We'll have to wait and see. I think the key thing is just weathering the early storm from Newcastle, because they could come out and go bang, bang, 2-0 inside 10, 15, 20 minutes and the game could be done. But if we can just contain that pressure that will inevitably come early on and then do what we usually do. I mean, we've done it against Man City. We've done it against other sides where we sit back and we, sort of try and retain that possession, retain that sort of line and then go at them after about 30 minutes. That's what we do. That's what we do best. And this football team is well known for that. We're a counter-attacking side that will wait and pounce. And I mean, we've done it brilliant counter-attacks, an early ball into the box, a low header from Ward-Prowse or Bowen in the last couple of weeks we've seen. And hopefully that could be a similar scenario, 1-0 going into half-time, and you never know what might happen. But yeah, it's not a game that's completely out of our reach, but it is a difficult game, and we can't underestimate a Newcastle side that have just gone and thumped arguably one of the best teams in the world, PSG, not on form at the moment, but they're a side. I mean, if you'd have said that to Newcastle fans 3 years ago before this takeover, they'd have looked at you quite funny. 3 years later, Dan Burn would be scoring in a 4-1 victory in a Champions League group stage against PSG at St James's Park. It's just complete lunacy from the Geordies. It's mad, it's crazy, it's insane. And fair play to them, I clap them all the way from that. But at the same time, I'd love them if we could stuff them. I'd love them if we could get at least a 0.3. Would be an excellent return. I mean, just think, if we can get 3 points out of this game currently, that would leave us then with 16 points after 8 games. So I mean, what a return that would be to the start of the season, where we've played Brighton, where we usually lose. We've played Chelsea, where it's usually a difficult game. We played City and Liverpool. Look at that. And we'd be on 16 points from 8 games. Every single West Ham fan would have snatched your hand off for that at the start of the season. So let's hope for that. But a point would be the end of the world tomorrow. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw and hope we can get out of there probably quite scrappily at the end, holding on possibly. And look, let's get the point. Let's get out. I'm feeling another set piece goal. That seems to be where most of our goals are coming from as of late. So a Ward-Prowse assist, a Kurt Zouma, Captain Kurt Zouma, to get his noggin on it and to hit it into the back of the net. I think they'll get one back in the second half, but I think we'll just about hold on for a 1-1 draw. And yeah, I'd be buzzing for that. My final thought, what I'd say to these players before they go out: just go out there, play the game, play what we've played the way we've played all throughout this season, because it's gone reasonably well so far. And my sort of word of encouragement would be, if you can get through that first 20 to 30 minutes and then pounce, I think that would be a perfect scenario. And I think that could be something that could be likely if we can get ourselves into that position. No silly defensive mistakes. Gerd has been better in the last couple of games he's played, so I'd expect Naya Gerd to start alongside Kurt Zouma. So hopefully let's eradicate any silly mistakes. I mean, when they came to our place last year, Gerd had a mare, Fabianski flapped at one, and overall it was just a shambles. So let's hope for no big mistakes, a solid performance all round, and a point, I think, will be a valid and hopefully a realistic return for West Ham before we go into another international break where we get to watch Jarrod Bowen in England's shirt. Pray he doesn't get injured. That is for sure. Sharky says midfield is going to be where the battle's won 100%. They've got a very tough, very good. I think they've got a good balance in the midfield as well, because I mean that Longstaff played really well midweek. A gritty sort of player that's going to sweep things up. Bruno Guimaraes is going to bring the flair as well, and I think they've got an exceptional midfield that functions really well. And I think that their whole team flows really well. They're dangerous. Full-backs, of course, we've got to watch them. Kieran Trippier has got a deadly ball into the box. James Ward-Prowse's ball is better, but we've still got to, be wary of that, because he is a very, very good fullback. They've got really good players all over the pitch. They wouldn't be in the position they are currently if they didn't in the Champions League, finishing in the top 4 last year and having a pretty solid start to life so far this season. So they are actually a point below us on the table. I didn't know that. They've played 7, won 4, lost 3, and they haven't drawn a game yet. So maybe that could change tomorrow if quite a few of our predictions come true with a draw. So yeah, let's hope so. Well identified, Ronnie. You are top of the league. You are the October the 7th champions. So stick that in the cabinet, mate. Hope so. Hope you enjoy it. England, Australia, it's just a pointless friendly, isn't it? Like, nobody really cares. And if Bowen gets injured, I'll be absolutely livid. But yeah, I might watch it. I might not. Depends whether I'm doing something, to be honest with you. It's a pointless friendly. Then we've got a qualifier against Italy, I think, haven't we? So that game's actually got something on it and it's actually meaningful. So I might watch that one. You never know. But there we go. I've waffled for 20 minutes. I hope you've enjoyed this show. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. If you have enjoyed it, drop a like on the video and subscribe to West Ham Official if you are new. There'll be no build-up show tomorrow as we are making our way up to the London Stadium for tomorrow's game. So yeah, there'll be a match day vlog at some point tomorrow evening. Or late afternoon if you're lucky. And yeah, so look out for that. Hit the notification bell so you're notified ping when that video does drop tomorrow. And hopefully it's a vlog of me talking and discussing a West Ham win, some limbs, some fun afternoon football in the sun. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Ronnie Bubbles says, stumbled past 9 men last week and held on at mighty Luton this week. Well done. Bang on the money. Robert says, the good thing is that the England games are at home. Yeah, that is good. So there's no huge travelling involved. You know, you can get on planes all over the gaff. So that is a positive to take out of it. But yeah, check out the videos coming tomorrow. No build-up show, but there will be a vlog and some other content, no doubt, as well. If you're going over to the bowl tomorrow, enjoy it. Don't forget your sun cream. I think you're going to need it. Whip it back out. But yeah, until tomorrow, come on, you Irons. And let's hope the boys can do us proud tomorrow. Get a point at least on the board and move into this international break in style. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.